Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Everyday Carry for the Everyday Guy. Thank you so much for retuning in. As promised in my last video, today I'm going to be doing a comparison review between these two, the Olight PL Mini and the Nextorch WL10X Executor. Before I do get into it, let me first apologize for how long this video may run. I do have a lot to say about these things and I want to cover everything, so if you do watch the review, all your questions about these two lights are answered. First off, before we even get into the lights, I need to talk about the accessories, particularly the holsters. The Olight is a very, very popular light, so finding a holster for this guy isn't too difficult. I've got one from Quantum Carry Solutions, which I'll review next week. This is a really cool holster. It's their Chameleon. I'll talk more about it next week. And then I've got another one from Shinobi Kydex. This is their Wakizashi 2.0. Also super cool review coming soon. And then a review I did already is from this Last Line of Defense holster from Mike out in Denver, Colorado. This is an ultra cool holster. I'll link to the review in this video. With regards to the Nextorch though, I've only managed to get holsters for it from Shinobi Kydex, so I haven't looked too hard. I'm sure there are more manufacturers, but they aren't as readily commercially available as for the Olight. So that might be something you want to take into consideration. Don't let it bug you too much. Erich at Shinobi Kydex, I'm pretty sure he will deliver to anywhere in South Africa, and his holsters are super quality. So don't let that stress you out. Okay guys, so we're going to do a quick box-to-box, side-by-side comparison. Lumen-wise, the Olight wins that battle with 400 lumens versus 230 with the Nextorch. I will show you later on what the difference between 400 and 230 lumens look like in a sort of home invasion type situation, where you will see it from the invader and from the point of view of the person pointing the firearm at the invader. I do want to say at this point, I don't point my firearm. It's never been pointed at any other human being, and it's not loaded at all. All my firearms are emptied before I put them on camera. So 400 versus 230. On the box of the Olight, it says it gives you 71 minutes of burn time effectively. In my test, my stress test, it basically ran for about 65 minutes, and then it got to a point where it was non-usable. So 71, 65, it's a difference of like 6 minutes, so you can, that's okay. The Nextorch, however, did run for nearly a full 120 minutes, as it says on the box. I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes short. So that's quite good life. On that topic of life, the batteries. Obviously, the Olight, as you probably know, comes with this USB charger situation. Okay, the charger plugs into the bottom, and you plug this USB into any charging plug. You probably have one with your smartphone, so it's not going to be hard to find that. Takes about 25 to 30 minutes to charge fully from a full discharge. The Nextorch comes with one of these batteries. I believe it's called a CR123A. I'll try to get a good shot of that. This battery is really difficult to find. I live in Cape Town and live a few minutes away from the Century City mall, and there's no shop inside that mall that has this battery, because I've been to every shop that would have had this battery. I actually ended up on holiday in Hermanus yesterday, and the Dis-Chem inside the mall in Hermanus had a couple of these, and so I bought like 4 or 5 of them. If you have access to this, it's not a problem. If you don't have access to this, then this torch might be an issue for you. What I do like about battery operated torches over lithium ion charging battery situation is that if you have 2 or 3 of these on you in your grab bag or in your EDC bag, whatever the case may be, you effectively then have 2 or 3 full charges. You simply twist off the cap and replace it, and you've got a charge. Whereas if the Olight runs out, you've got to basically recharge this thing at the charging point for 30 minutes. So you're kind of out of the game with your torch. That's going to be a personal preference, whether it makes a difference to you or not. I'm not recommending either of these. I'm not saying one is better than the other one. You use it as you wish to use it. The Olight has a beam distance of 75 meters versus 130 meters on the Nextorch. And I do want to say, a lot of people shy away from the Nextorch. This is a really good package. It wins in many departments, other than lumens, of course, which if that's your maximum or your biggest deal, then obviously you're not even going to look at this. But I'll show you later what that looks like from a attacker's perspective. And then price-wise, it's a very easy win on that side for the Nextorch. This guy cost me about 750 Rand, give or take. I can't remember exactly, but it was around there. This costs 1,700 Rand. Obviously, there is a bit more engineering that went into this. You've got your lithium-ion battery, which is rechargeable and comes with a charging cable. You do also get one of these batteries with your Nextorch, and they do come with like very little attaching adapters, so you can attach it to most modern makes of firearms. And then lastly, both of these guys are quite readily available. Like I said, I live in Cape Town. Most of the gun shops I go to do have these. You can even order these off Takealot. So availability is pretty much even. You can get them if you really want them. It's not going to be a problem. So let's get into the more individualized features of these two options. Before I go further, as always, my firearm is emptied and safe. So the Nextorch, I'm going to run through the options that are currently on the setup. Firstly are the paddles. So these are the activation paddles. I'll try to show them to you. Right? They extend quite far from the side of the gun, and it gives you a good purchase on it when you are trying to go for it, whether it be with your trigger finger or with your thumb. So I really like this, and there's a tactile click. I'll let you listen to it for a second. A really tactile click, so you know when it's on and when you re-click it off. That's the only function it has. It doesn't have a strobe function. It's literally just either on or off. And then it's got a locking mechanism. I can't think of when you would use this really. It's a feature that's on here, but I haven't really ever needed to use it. So this little tab slides forward and backwards. It's on both sides, and when it's in the backwards position, you can't depress the on-off switch. And obviously when it's forward, you can. And then to disengage the battery. So if you're going to store this guy, obviously you don't want it stored with the battery engaged. You basically just give a quarter turn on the front of the light, and it now no longer works. It's not really difficult. It's just a very, very small turn. You'll feel the moment it's locked on again and goes back on. As you can see, guys, this does extend quite a bit past the barrel. Most people find that is a problem. With the Shinobi Kydex holsters, especially the one I reviewed in one of my earlier videos, which I will link to, the Katana holster, it really caters very well for this guy. I've worn that holster for about 6 months, virtually daily, and I didn't have any problems with it. So if it is a big deal to you, maybe you want to look past this, but if it's something you think you can live with, definitely give this guy a look into it. The features on here, they do make sense, and I'll explain why in a moment. I do want to further talk about these paddles that's on the side and where they sit. Now, I've got pretty normal size hands. I'll compare the size of my hand to the size of a Glock 19, and you can make your own assumptions based on that. And what's nice about them is that they fall perfectly onto my trigger finger when it's along the side of the firearm. I get a full purchase on those switches, and it's very easy to activate. On the other side, they, again, perfectly where my thumb would be, and if I were to extend, it's positioned exactly where I want it to be positioned. Now, what I like about these oversized paddles, obviously holster makers don't like it, but here's what I like about it. Like, I think a year ago, I did a street combat course called Street Smart, and we covered many aspects of it. I think it was a 3-day course, if my memory serves me correctly. But what they did was they tried to simulate real-world environments, you know, the stresses and the rigors. Obviously, they can't do that exactly because it's just impossible. What you experience in a real high-stress situation can never really fully be simulated. But they do go out of the way. It's a magnificent course. I will link to it. But what I discovered is in those moments, your fine motor functions, your ability to perform fine tasks are severely diminished. So having these massive paddles on the side, if you ever think about it, when you are going to use this torch, it's probably going to be in a high-stress situation. It's probably going to be dark, and you're more than likely going to think someone is going to pose a threat on your life. So you kind of want those paddles to be as big as possible. That, guys, what's very important is that is my own personal opinion. Remember, nothing in this video or any of my videos is a recommendation. That's just me talking from my own experiences in life. Like I say, one of the positive things of this, I feel it was designed maybe a bit more intelligently, but again, my opinion, because these paddles, makes such a huge difference. And as you can see, my finger, your finger just rests perfectly on it. It's when you're holding your gun, you are just ready to flick the switch if needed. Moving on from the Nextorch to the Olight, there is one last thing I do want to show you. When you take this light off and put it on, it's quite a task. You've got to unwind this little screw. Now just remember, this is a task only when you're taking it off and putting it on, and you got to think to yourself, how often are you actually going to do that? So don't let this sort of stress you out. But it is harder to take and to remove and replace this than it is the Olight. I mean, this is quite simple. Done. So I'm going to show you some differences between the Olight and the Nextorch. Firstly, take a look at the activation paddles, right? They're sort of, I'm hoping it is in the shot here. They are almost flush with the barrel, well, sorry, with the slide of the firearm. There's not a lot of area there to get your finger onto, and you really have to look for it. Okay, so if you're going to get this particular option, take some time to practice finding this, because you don't want to be fiddling looking for it in the moment when you need it. This versus the Nextorch is pretty much chalk and cheese. The Nextorch, you feel that paddle immediately. I'm not favoring Nextorch. I'm just giving you the facts as my fingers feel them. Obviously, for convenience and comfortability, this doesn't extend pretty much at all past the barrel. So, you know, in terms of wearability, most people are going to say it's more comfortable. I would say first try Shinobi Kydex Katana holster before you make that assumption. I've worn them both extensively. I don't find that they're any more or less comfortable than each other. Onto features. Olight has the feature where when you press the toggle down and keep it down, when you lift it off, it goes off. To activate it completely, or sort of activate to a point where it stays on, you just tap it down. So that's pretty much the only difference in features between the two. And then obviously also the easy on, easy off situation and the charging port that's underneath here. But other than that, they don't have too many differences. And then also where the Nextorch had a on-off click, the Olight doesn't. It's got like a spongy type material on the toggle, and you just depress that. There's not really any sound or any audible or tactile click for you to know when it is on or off. Obviously you will know when it's on or off because you will see light or you won't. But in terms of feelability, you really can't tell the difference between when it's on or off. Guys, I know it may seem like I'm sort of rooting for the Nextorch. That's not the case. I'm just basically stating things as they are, and to prove it, I actually run the Olight currently with my current setup. I like them both. I'm just sort of trying to bring it across that in my opinion, neither of these guys are superior to the other. It's just a matter of what you feel you want. What I am going to do now is set up like a home invasion type situation. It's going to be ultra basic. And I'm going to try to show you what these torches look like, as I said earlier, from the bad guy's perspective and the good guy's perspective. I do want to say, if you have any condition that is affected by bright lights, or you don't want a bright light shone in your face, you may want to skip past this, because I am going to shine this light directly at my camera. And I want to restate, at no point is my firearm loaded, and there's no one behind any of my cameras, so it is 110% safe. Okay guys, so you obviously can't see me, but what I've got is my camera set up in my doorway as if someone had just entered through the doorway. I'm standing exactly 7 meters away from the camera, and that's sort of like the golden distance when it comes to gun and knife fighting in terms of accuracy and things like that. So I'm 7 meters away. I've got the Nextorch attached, so I'm going to shine the light directly at the camera. And what I didn't mention earlier on is with the Nextorch, because of the paddles, you've got so much control, you can kind of create a strobe effect, which I'll show you in a second. So the light's going to be shone in 3, 2, 1, and there you go. I'm aiming directly at the lens of the camera, so I'll switch it off and back on. And this is the strobe effect I was sort of talking about that you can kind of create with the paddles. Cool guys, so that's the Nextorch. I'll do the Olight right now. So this is effectively the same setup with the Olight. I am going to try to simulate the strobe effect like I did with the Nextorch. It's a bit more difficult though, because the the always on function on the Olight is a tap function. So it's obviously not going to be as fast as strobe, but I will try to simulate. Also, the pedals on the Olight are a bit smaller and a bit less tactile, so I might not be able to do a good job, but we'll see what we can get out of it. So this is just a standard aim directed down the center of the lens. So I'm aiming dead center at the lens, and now I'll try that strobe effect quickly. That's pretty much the best I can do with the strobe on the Olight. Okay guys, what you're effectively going to see now is the reverse angle, sort of what you'd see if you were the good guy aiming at the bad guy. And so this is with the Nextorch, and I'm sort of trying to aim for sort of center mass. That's pretty much where I would take the shot if it was for real. And this is kind of what you'd see in a pitch black environment if someone's coming through your door 7 meters away. And so this is the strobe effect as well. So it kind of works quite well for you on this side, but not too good for the bad guy on the other side. Okay, and what we have here is the exact same test with the Olight. I will try to simulate the strobe effect as well. Just put it on and off a few times so you can sort of see what we're working with. And that's the best. You can even see sort of the fire tends to move a bit more in my hand because I'm having to work a lot harder to simulate that strobe effect. But again, that's not necessary. As you can see, it's plenty bright, and from the previous test you can see it's plenty blinding, so you don't need that strobe effect if you don't want it. So there you go guys, those are the differences between these two torches as I see them. I'm not going to recommend which one you should go for. You've got to look at your budget, you've got to look at how they feel on your fingers, you've got to look at what the availability of holsters and batteries, whether a charging point or a battery makes a difference to you. Consider all those things and make the best decision for yourself, because at the end of the day, these are going to be the tools that you have to use to save your own life. Remember, nothing in this video is a recommendation. Everything is an opinion. I do want to say thank you to especially the guys on Facebook. There's a particular group on Facebook that is supporting me tremendously well. I do read all of your messages. I read all of your emails on Facebook, Instagram, and you guys have been really supportive. I really appreciate that. I am doing another giveaway at the 100 subscriber mark, which hopefully isn't going to be too long. If you want to give me ideas to what I can give away, it's going to be another competition style thing. It's going to be a bit more difficult than the last time. Please feel free to do so in the comment sections below. If you want to know anything, or just chat to me, use the comment section. That's what it's there for. I read and reply to everything. Guys, if you liked the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. In my next video, I am going to do a review of this guy. It is the Chameleon holster from Quantum Carry Solutions, which caters for the Olight PL Mini. This is a really cool holster. It's like double, triple function, so it's going to be awesome. Please check it out. Thank you so much, guys. God bless.